Have you noticed something strange? You walk into a coffee shop. You order a $4 coffee. The barista hands you a tablet. And before you can even grab your drink, the screen asks, would you like to leave a 20%, 25%, or 30% tip? Suddenly, buying coffee feels like taking a pop quiz. If you tap no tip, you feel guilty. If you tip, you wonder, wait, when did this become normal? So here's the question. Why does it feel like everyone is asking for tips now? Is it because workers are becoming greedier? Are businesses shifting costs onto customers? Or is something much bigger happening beneath the surface? The answer is more complicated than most people realize. And once you understand it, you'll never look at that checkout screen the same way again. Let's go back for a second. Tipping wasn't always everywhere. For decades in the United States, tipping was mostly expected in places like restaurants, bars, taxis, and hotels. It was tied to jobs where workers often relied heavily on tips as part of their income. But today, the tip screen seems to follow you everywhere. Coffee shops, frozen yogurt stores, food trucks, self-service kiosks, even places where you barely interact with another person. So, what changed? Part of the answer is technology. A few years ago, tipping usually meant dropping cash into a jar. If you didn't have cash, you simply didn't tip. Today, almost every payment goes through a touchscreen. And that screen asks everyone the same question. Not because you're expected to tip, but because asking costs almost nothing. If even a small percentage of customers say yes. Businesses and workers collect more money. From a business perspective, that's an easy decision. But technology is only part of the story. The bigger reason is psychology. Imagine you're standing in line. The cashier smiles, then turns the payment screen toward you. The options are huge. 20%, 25%, 30%, and way down in the corner, a tiny button that says, no tip. Nobody says anything, but it feels like everyone is watching. Psychologists call this social pressure. Human beings naturally want to avoid looking selfish. Even when nobody is judging us, our brains often act as if they are. That's why many people leave a tip they never planned to give. Not because they changed their mind, because they wanted to avoid an uncomfortable moment that lasts only a few seconds. There's another reason tipping has expanded. The economy has changed. Over the past several years, many workers have faced higher housing costs, more expensive groceries, rising insurance bills, and inflation across everyday essentials. At the same time, many businesses have also seen their own costs increase. Instead of raising menu prices dramatically, some businesses rely more heavily on tips to help workers earn more. Supporters argue this helps employees without making prices look much higher. Critics argue it shifts more responsibility from employers to customers. That's why tipping has become such a controversial topic. It's not just about generosity anymore. It's about who should ultimately pay for labor. Here's what's fascinating. Most Americans actually like rewarding great service. If a server goes above and beyond, many people are happy to leave a generous tip. The frustration usually comes from something else. Being asked to tip before the service has even happened. Think about that. You're being asked to reward an experience. That hasn't happened yet. Imagine buying a movie ticket and being asked to rate the movie before it starts. It feels backwards. That's why so many people say they don't mind tipping. They just don't like being pressured into it. Now here's the hidden effect nobody talks about. When tip requests appear everywhere, people can become less generous overall. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every time you're asked to make another decision, your mental energy decreases just a little. By the fifth or sixth tip screen in a week, people stop thinking carefully. Some automatically tip every time. Others stop tipping altogether. Neither decision is necessarily based on the quality of the service. It's simply the result of being asked too often. So, will tipping culture keep expanding? Probably. As long as digital payment systems make tipping easy, and as long as businesses and workers benefit from higher tip income, you'll likely keep seeing that screen. But consumers are changing too. More people are becoming intentional. They're asking simple questions. Was this actually a service that traditionally receives tips? Did someone provide personal service? Or did I simply pick up my own order? Those questions don't make someone generous or stingy. They simply make someone thoughtful. The next time that payment screen flips toward you, don't let guilt make the decision. Don't let frustration make it either. Instead, pause for just a second. Think about the service you received. Think about your own budget. Then make the choice that feels right to you. Because tipping was originally meant to be a reward for good service, not a test of your character. And understanding that difference might be the most valuable tip of all.